How to outsmart anyone without saying a word. In a world oversaturated with noise, the most powerful individuals aren't always the loudest, they're often the quietest. The video, How to Outsmart Anyone Without Saying a Word, Nietzsche, explores a profound concept rooted in Stoicism, psychology, and the philosophical insight of Friedrich Nietzsche. True dominance does not require verbal combat, it requires presence. This article unpacks the video's underlying wisdom and psychological strategies, offering a detailed, expert-level explanation of how to become unshakably powerful in silence. Nietzsche's quiet confidence, philosophy turned psychology. 1. Silence implies certainty. Nietzsche once wrote, "He who cannot put his thoughts on ice should not enter into the heat of argument." This isn't just poetic language, it's a psychological principle. In any social interaction, the person who reacts the least controls the dynamic the most. Why? Because silence implies certainty. It signals you are grounded, self-possessed, and not easily swayed by others' emotional volatility. 2. Silence activates asymmetrical tension. Psychological insight. Silence activates asymmetrical tension. When you don't rush to fill space, others feel the pressure to reveal themselves. This isn't manipulation, it's gravity. In a room full of anxious performers, the still one commands the stage. People project strength onto silence. They wonder what you're thinking, how much you know, and why you aren't seeking approval like the rest. Presence over performance, the hidden power of observation. Most people seek attention. The wise man observes. When you observe more than you speak, you gather leverage. The room reveals itself to you. You notice emotional shifts, power plays, insecurities, all while remaining unreadable yourself. Why this works? From a psychological perspective, humans are wired to interpret silence as either threat or superiority. The ambiguity forces them to adjust to you. You become the unpredictable variable. That's power. The mastery of non-reactivity. Emotionally sovereign. Non-reactivity is a rare trait. In a culture of impulsive replies and constant digital chatter, the ability to not respond is psychological gold. When you're not easily provoked, you're seen as emotionally sovereign. Intellectually composed. Intellectually composed. Dangerous in a calm, controlled way. Neuroscience angle. Neuroscience angle. Non-reactivity is a function of a well-regulated prefrontal cortex, the brain's control center for decision-making. When you can pause, assess, and withhold response, you become the one who dictates the pace of interaction. The chess player. Nietzsche would argue, the man who reacts is being used. He is a puppet of his impulses. But the man who waits, who thinks, who remains still, chooses when and how to move, he becomes the chess player, not the pawn. Strategic silence in conflict and seduction. In conflict, silence disrupts the rhythm of the aggressor. They want Escalation. Your stillness denies it. You become unfightable, not because you run, but because you don't dance. In seduction, the same principle applies. When you don't chase, don't over-validate, and don't overexpress, you stimulate curiosity. Your value rises because you're not trying to prove it. Desire is often born in mystery, and mystery cannot exist without restraint. The silent frame, unspoken authority. Framing is how you define reality for others. The person with the strongest frame influences everyone else's perception. Most try to explain their frame. The master embodies it. Example: if you walk into a room with calm composure, strong eye contact, and stillness, people instinctively align to your emotional state. You don't have to say, "I'm confident." You are the frame of confidence. How to practice Nietzschean silence today. Speak 50% less. Observe instead. Let people reveal themselves. Use eye contact and stillness instead of fillers and nervous gestures. Pause before responding. Make people wait for your words. Be brief but piercing. When you do speak, be precise and intentional. Detach from needing to be liked. This is where the power begins. Final thought: outsmarting others begins with outsmarting yourself. The quietest man in the room is not always the weakest. Often he's the most dangerous because he's mastered himself. Nietzsche taught that real power is internal, not performative. You don't outsmart people by arguing with them. You do it by never lowering your frame. In the words of Nietzsche, you have your way. I have my way. As for the right way, the correct way, and the only way, it does not exist. And that's the secret. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone. Your silence proves everything.